Hi guys, I'm going to show you something really special that's sort of Christmassy, but it's great for any occasion. And it's straight out of Amazing Grazing, which is our Christmas book for 2019. And we're printing it this year, so make sure you go and get your copy. We've printed only a very limited number and this recipe is in it and you're going to love it. It's a bit decadent. It is for special occasions. We've pre-made the iced puff pastry, which is the most amazing recipe, and it's been in the fridge overnight and it needs a little bit of a roll. So just dust it with some flour so it won't stick, but not too much. And then use your bread mat. If you don't have one of those, go get one of those at the same time. Okay? And we want this to go into a circle because we're going to wrap a brie, an entire brie. So as it starts to roll, you can kind of turn the corners, if you like push the corners in so that you're getting more of a circle. It won't really matter because we're going to fully wrap the cheese. Luckily I have a brie here, but I've got a brie here as well. So you do need egg wash for this. You don't want to tear the pastry, kind of keep rounding it, but you'll realise it doesn't really matter. Okay, so the size of my brie is huge. I think this is over, it might be a kilo actually. So basically you've got to make sure that the pastry is going to cover the entire wheel of brie. So that's not big enough yet, okay? If you're going to do smaller ones, you can do individual ones, which is actually pretty special on a, for a dinner party or something. Or you could use a smaller wheel of brie, but why would you? This one batch of the puff pastry will do a kilo wheel, but you've just got to, kind of roll it out fairly thinly, but not so thin that it won't work in the oven because you don't want it to break. Okay, I think that's almost about right. Let me just have a little look. What do you reckon? I'm going to cover that. Just check. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to make it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is put some cranberry sauce on top. And I'm going to just cut a little bit in the cheese rind just to sort of have that go in so that it combines. So just sort of, lift the rind a little bit. We can put that back on. I don't think I wrote this in the recipe, but I've made it a few times and I think this works better. You should try and get that off in one piece if you can, because you want to put it back on, but nearly there. No! Blooper reel. Okay, we'll just fold that up. All right, so now the cranberry sauce is going in there. If you don't like the idea of cranberry sauce with your cheese, that's okay. Use something like pesto, something savoury. And don't go crazy with the cranberry sauce because you really don't want so much that it kind of oozes out, okay? So just push that into the little sort of gaps that you've made. Okay, so now we're going to put this back on, kind of roughly. Was it that way? It was that way. Not a big deal. Patch your cheese back up. So now we're going to fold it all over. If you get excess, we're going to trim that off, which I will do with the back of a knife so I don't cut my bread mat. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have excess, and then I'll make some little decorations. So you want to wrap it without it being too thin. And you won't be too thin after you eat this, trust me. Bring it over. Okay, that's going to work, no problem. And I will put a bit of egg wash under there, and I know that's going to work, so I'm going to cut off some pastry here just for decoration. There we go. I might just do the egg wash here and kind of gather it in and use the egg wash like glue just to stick that pastry down. And remember, this pastry will puff up a lot because it is puff pastry. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to cradle it, make sure it's really sealed everywhere. Obviously, once you get hot cheese, it's going to kind of start to ooze out, so. And then just egg wash. And then you can get a bit artistic and make little leaves or flowers or whatever to go on top to sort of hide the joins. How easy is that? I think it's awesome. So I'll just cut these up. You should never use a knife on the bread mat. I'm just going to make a little coil that'll look like a flower. She says, hopefully. Put that on. And maybe one more. Pastry is amazing. We're using Pepe Saya butter in this pastry, and although it's sort of difficult to work with because it is so soft, it's just so beautiful as far as pastry goes. Okay, one more of that. Okay, the flour's got bigger and bigger, but still. And I'll just roll out a little leaf. Cranberry sauce in my fork. I hope you're getting the close-ups of this artwork, Matt. Good. And egg wash those. Now this is going into a 170-degree oven for, I think, around half an hour, but I could be wrong. Just check the recipe. And then you really don't need to serve it with anything because you use the pastry to serve it with, so it's pretty impressive. Got to be very careful. Onto your lime tray and into the oven. So the Brie en Croute with the cranberry sauce is out of the oven, and we've sort of just decorated a bit with some olive branches because that's what we've got going on in the garden right now. But you could use bay leaves or rosemary around it for Christmas. It would be lovely as a sort of a wreath. I am going to take them off though, just to cut a piece for you. The best thing for this in serving is to just let people have at it, in my opinion. Like have it and pass it around and just let people slice themselves a piece. And then let's go for it. We've got ooze happening. We do. This has been out of the oven for about probably 15 minutes. And I'm just going to turn that around so you can see what happens the minute you cut it. It's kind of, it's good to go. You've got to eat that while it's hot. That's the rule. So guess what? I obey my own rules. And you can't really see the pink very much of the cranberry, but that's okay. You don't want it to be overwhelming. So, hot cheese, crispy pastry, lots of butter in the pastry, the little bit of sweetness. You sort of can't go wrong. I don't think there's anyone that's not going to like that, unless you're lactose intolerant.